They thought it would go unnoticed. The alien warlord had grown tired of negotiations, of human diplomats speaking with measured calm and endless patience. On the neutral world of Kareth Prime, a single human envoy, Ambassador Alaric Dane, stood as Earth's voice, bridging a fragile peace with the Vadris Dominion. But arrogance breeds cruelty. During what should have been a routine summit, the Vadris commander, drunk on the power of his empire's fleets, snapped his clawed fingers. Guards seized the envoy. Cameras broadcast the scene across 3 sectors. With laughter that rattled like broken glass, the commander ordered, "Human life means nothing here." And in front of hundreds of alien delegates, he executed the ambassador with a ceremonial blade. A single life. One man. Dismissed as insignificant. But that one act would awaken something the galaxy had long forgotten. The Feast of Mockery. The Dominion celebrated. In their towering halls, alien nobles raised crystal goblets of molten wine, boasting that Earth was a world of soft-bellied philosophers, too civilized, too restrained to respond. They mocked humanity as bookkeepers of peace, archivists of treaties, dreamers with no teeth. "Let them whimper," one Vadris senator declared. "Their fleets are dust, their soldiers a memory. They hide behind words, not war." Across comms and broadcasts, the Dominion replayed the envoy's execution, splicing it into propaganda reels. Children of the Vadris were taught to sneer at the human image. Silence followed from Earth. No denunciation, no thunder, no warning, just silence. The galaxy mistook it for weakness. The silence before the storm. But within that silence, wheels turned. Encrypted orders flowed through Earth's shadow networks. Old codes awoke, sealed since the time of the Great Expansion. Dockyards long considered ceremonial lit up with activity. Civilian eyes never saw it, but every admiral, every strategist knew humanity's patience had ended. For 2 weeks, the galaxy wondered why Earth said nothing. For 2 weeks, Dominion smugglers whispered of strange movements in the Sol system, convoys of freight haulers vanishing into deep slipspace, communications channels locking behind layers of black encryption. The silence was not weakness. It was sharpening steel. The shattering of quiet. Then, without warning, the silence broke. A signal blasted across the galactic net. A voice, calm, deep, resolute. Every translator strained as the words reached every world, every outpost, every throne room. "You took 1 life. You will answer for 1,000. And with those words, humanity unleashed its fury. From Luna's dark shipyards, dreadnoughts slid into orbit, hulls gleaming with cold iron. From the asteroid foundries of Ceres, carrier groups emerged, their hangars swollen with fighters like swarms of steel hornets. From hidden orbital rings above Titan and Mars, the ancient war engines of Earth ignited once more. The stars themselves dimmed as the fleets launched, 1,000 warships, engines burning like a storm of suns. The unstoppable advance. The Dominion had never seen such movement. Entire sectors reported the same image. Human fleets bursting out of slipspace in perfect formation, their comms silent, their weapons charged. Civilian stations watched in terror as the armadas swept past, unstoppable, implacable. The Vadris tried to rally. Their admirals laughed at first, believing human numbers exaggerated, but the laughter died as reports poured in. Outposts reduced to slag within minutes. Orbital defenses shattered before they could power up. Entire Dominion fleets erased in a single coordinated strike. Humanity did not come with words. They came with fire. The wrath of Earth. The first true blow fell on Karith Prime. Where the ambassador's blood had stained the marble floors, the sky now burned. Human dreadnoughts descended like mountains falling from the heavens. Their cannons spoke in thunder that rattled the planet's crust. The great cities of the Dominion cracked and burned. Towers fell in waves of light. Seas boiled into steam. Soldiers who had once jeered at humanity fled screaming as drop pods hammered down, releasing armored marines whose rifles sang like the voice of judgment itself. The Dominion's ruling council tried to flee. Their palace was vaporized before the evacuation craft cleared orbit. The Dominion screamed for mercy. None came. The flood of retribution. It was not just war, it was retribution. The human fleet spread like a tide. Each system that had broadcast the envoy's death was targeted first. Humanity's vengeance was methodical, surgical, absolute. The galaxy watched in horror as Earth's 1,000 warships struck, one by one. The Sharon Belt, once a thriving trade hub, reduced to glowing glass. The fortress of Vadrax, obliterated in a single bombardment that cracked its shield dome like an egg. The Ninth Armada of the Dominion, annihilated before it could even turn to face the enemy, their ships shredded by human rail cannons that fired faster than the eye could follow. Each blow was delivered without pause, without hesitation, without a single word more than the first broadcast. The fall of arrogance. Dominion arrogance collapsed into fear. The same senators who had mocked humanity now cowered in hidden bunkers, whispering of Earth as if it were a phantom god. Admirals who once boasted of superiority now abandoned their posts, refusing to face the storm. Even neutral species began to tremble. If humanity could unleash such fury for one life, what would they do for a colony, a fleet, a world? The galaxy realized the truth too late. Earth had never been weak. They had only been patient. The roar of annihilation. The climax came in the heart of Dominion space. There, where the Vadras throne world orbited its pale star, the full fury of Earth converged. 1,000 ships aligned in perfect silence. The human commander spoke only once. For Alaric Dane. Then the sky split open. Dreadnoughts fired in unison, their beams converging into a storm that consumed the planet. From orbit, the world looked as if a sun had been born upon its surface. Mountains vaporized. Oceans boiled into the void. The very crust split apart, shattering into fragments as molten fire poured into space. The Dominion's heart was gone. So too was their arrogance. The ashes of silence. And then silence again. Human fleets did not linger. They did not conquer. They did not claim the ruins. They left only wreckage, only ash, only silence. Survivors whispered in terror. Do not provoke Earth, not ever again. Across the galaxy, the lesson carved itself into history. Humanity's patience was vast. They endured insult, bore mockery, turned away from bloodshed for as long as they could. But their vengeance was infinite. The Zyral Dominion prided itself on being the oldest, most dominant power in the Eastern Spiral Arm. Their fleets patrolled 100 sectors, their governors ruled dozens of subjugated species, and their arrogance spread further than their empire's borders. When their envoy arrived at the Treaty Hall of Vera Station, humanity had come in peace. A human ambassador, envoy Dr. Elias Harrow, stood before the Zyral Council, offering cooperation, trade, and a future where equals might prosper side by side. But the Zyral had no interest in equals. Before the gathered witnesses of 12 galactic species, the Zyral prefect smirked, leaned forward, and in a casual, almost bored gesture, slit the human envoy's throat with a ceremonial blade. Gasps filled the chamber. The Zyral guards let the man collapse, his lifeblood spilling onto the polished floor. The prefect spoke, his voice calm and arrogant. One life means nothing. One species means less. Humanity is an upstart animal that mistakes technology for worth. Let this death remind you, Earth is beneath us. The Zyral delegation departed with laughter echoing in their wake. The galaxy watched in silence. None dared interfere. After all, it was only one life. The chorus of mockery. News spread quickly across the networks of the stars. Zyral broadcasts were filled with derision. They called humans the talking primates and mocked their restraint. The Earthborn will do nothing, declared Zyral commentators. They are too bound by words and laws, too dependent on their weak councils. They will whine. They will file grievances. But vengeance? No, humanity has no teeth. On Zyral worlds, children's education programs animated the execution for laughs, turning the ambassador's death into a parody broadcast across systems. Other empires, though quieter, smirked as well. Humans had been growing in reputation, too quickly for comfort. Perhaps this humiliation would remind them of their place. Whispers filled the courts of neutral systems. Earth will stay silent. They are builders, not destroyers, traders, not warriors. The Zyral are right. The humans have no fire. The Zyral dominion celebrated. The prefect who ordered the killing was hailed as a visionary, a man who had put the monkeys in their place. Banquets were held in his honor. Fleets conducted ceremonial flyovers. And across the galaxy, no one noticed that Earth's response was not words. It was silence. The silence before the storm. Inside Sol system, transmissions ceased.